Good morning, everybody. Welcome to BASF at K22. Welcome to our plastics journey. And welcome Paul Smith from Adidas and Lionel Gehringer from BASF. Gentlemen, good to have you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Paul, how are you feeling? How was the run?
I'm happy that I trained most of the year for events like this, so I did have good shoes to get here on time. I wasn't prepared for the traffic in the area, but we're here. So
I can tell you we're really happy that you are here, and that's why I will also leave the stage up to you for a couple of minutes, because you will basically show what happened in the past 3 years since we last met here in Düsseldorf at K-Fair. A lot has happened, and you're going to explain all the details. I'll be back later for a little chat here, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
great.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me back. I don't think very much has changed in the world actually in the last 3 years. So 3 years ago, maybe some of you are here, we had just launched the Futurecraft Loop shoe, showed it to the world, but it wasn't really for sale. And I think today I'll take you a little bit on the journey since then. So in between there was a bit of a pandemic, you might remember that. But luckily, the Olympics of Plastics, the K-Fair, happens every 3 years, and so we haven't skipped a beat, and we're back here to give a bit of a progress update on some of the things that we've been doing in that space, and obviously alongside BASF over the last 3 years, and I'll give you a bit of the hint to the future, some of the things I can't quite tell you yet. So, making sure we're going. I'm going to give you a little bit of a zoom out first on Adidas, just to set some context. Why am I here? Why does Adidas care about sustainability? Why do we work with great partners such as BASF? So within the company, this is something, if you stop anyone, if you see someone on the fair here from Adidas, they should know what our purpose is. Our purpose is that through sports, we have the power to change lives. And I think that goes not only in creating Olympians, but in creating sport performers for the future. And we define athletes as people who just want to better themselves. And I think, and within that as well, we believe, as our company, the global impact that we have, we also have the ability to change the lives of people in terms of how they think about the planet and how they think about the future. So in that sense, if there's no place to play sport, we can't obviously play sport. If we look at our mission, we definitely want to be the best sports brand in the world, and the best doesn't always necessarily mean number one. It would be nice if we're number one in sales, etc. But I think it's also how we engage with our consumers, how we work with our partners, etc. That makes us the best, and that's what we've been striving for years. So this is not something that is the 2022 slogan. This has been going around for quite a while. And our attitude is impossible is nothing. And I know working alongside you, I know sometimes things feel quite impossible, especially if we're trying to change industry, trying to change mindset, trying to change the way we do things. But I think this impossible nothing, the same attitude that we see in our Olympians, in our amateur sports people, it's also the same thing that we have to hold through and also go through some of the challenges, which we'll also speak about today, of bringing sustainability and, in this case, circularity into the world. So, 3 years ago, I mentioned, we launched the Futurecraft Loop. It was a launch in 2019. At that stage, well, we saw this as a first step in our journey. So we created a product. As you know, we spent quite a lot of time, actually even years before that, and I'll speak to that in a second, to create a shoe that we believe would help set a milestone in circularity. So creating a product out of one material sounds easy, is not. I think every step along the way, looking at what we could do, I think even in 2008 is when I first started working on it, roughly, thinking about the materials and what we could do. There are a lot of things, if you think in a running shoe, that it has to accomplish. So there's traction on the outsole, there's cushioning in the midsole, there's support and obviously hold through the upper. And to find one material that can do all of those things as well without glue, that was not as easy as even I thought it was. And I've been working in the footwear industry and innovation for quite a long time. So we went on that journey. 2019 was very exciting to launch this, and that's why I also shortly thereafter was able to come here and speak about this product a little bit. But that was just the start. So we had roughly 1,000 pairs that went out into the world so we can learn, we could test take-back mechanisms. And from there, our journey moved on. Yeah. So I'll hand it over to you, Lionel, to speak a little bit about that as well.
Exactly, to give you some insight. So it's a very exciting project. So we worked intensively over the last years, and as Paul said, very challenging to create this product that can be recycled at the end. So the end-of-life target was, from the beginning, included in the selection of the raw material, and together with the Infinergy part, the expanded thermoplastic polyurethane product, we have to target to define which kind of product we can use, and also it was necessary for us to develop specific grades that enable at the end of life. And also, you have the product, but afterward you also need to find the right recycling pathway. So that was also the challenge for us. If you have the concept and the idea to go into circularity, so when you collect the shoe back, you need also the right process to get at the end the right performance of the product. And this is why also we work intensively over the last years. So back to you, Paul.
Thank you. So if we talk about our industry as well, we know we're a big global company. We know that we're a part of the challenge. So we say a part of it. We have to work with many partners. So great material partners, with governments, with universities, with institutions, as well as our consumers, in order to understand and then help better our impact on the planet. So if we're talking about climate change, and also how we use resources. So if you go through the booth today, I had a lovely tour yesterday, thank you. Obviously, we've been working a lot of topics together for the last years, but you can see as well, not only is it about creating circularity, but it's rethinking the resources that we use in order to create those products. And I think there's some nice examples that we've also seen in the booth today, and some things maybe you'll see in the future with our company as well.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, for highlighting that.
Yeah. There's also external drivers, so we have to be aware. I think if you are from the European Union, there's a taxonomy coming into place in the next while. Obviously, it's very interesting to see what that is. I wouldn't say that we're a company who's just working because the government tells us we have to change something. We legitimately want to change what we're doing. Our consumers are telling that to us as well in many forms, and we'd be foolish to ignore that. But also, as I spoke before, we understand that we need a place to play sport in the future, and if our climate keeps changing like it is, I'm a big winter sports fan myself, and I hope to be able to ski, and I hope to be able to have my children skiing in the future. But if there's no snow, I'm going to have a big problem with that. So, if we look a little bit at our history, I'm not going to read this slide page for page, but sustainability at adidas is also something that's been around. Well, I start this page at 1998, but I think it was thought about even before. And I think it goes back as well with a history of environmental and social responsibility. So how we're treating our employees, how we're looking at our supply chain. But if we go through, we've seen different phases, and I'll explain a little bit of our strategy as we go through here. I'm not going to go on a deep dive today. Excuse me. We started really looking in 2008 at more of a holistic environmental strategy. So putting that in place into our business plans and where we'll go from there. That's around the time as well we started looking at circularity and the materials. We really started probably actively working together on this topic in 2012, so it takes a while for change to start occurring. And then I zoom into the star at the bottom. In 2019 is when we were last year, and when we launched the Futurecraft Loop product for the first time. So zooming ahead to today now, and this is where I'll go from now. I'll start talking a little bit more about the future. In 2022, what we see here is we have multiple products on the market, and I'll show some images there. I'm not here to try to sell more running shoes, but they are great, and I know you can at least run 1.5 kilometers in the morning wearing those shoes. But it's about our product, not only running shoes, actually the shirt I'm wearing as well, and a lot of our clothing range is made to be remade as we move towards circularity. So we really believe in the potential of circularity. If you're paying attention to the words I'm using, in 2019 we launched it as Futurecraft Loop. Now our program is called Made to be Remade. So using product that is made from something that can be made into something else. Right now we are turning it back into our own products, but hopefully as well we're working together that everything that we're creating will eventually get into that space where there's a known end of life, and there is no plastic waste, there is nothing going to the landfill, there is nothing being incinerated in the future. And that's not only an onus on our companies and our industry partners, but it's also on our consumers. So if people have their product and they sit in their closet for years and years and years and don't do anything with them and then are thrown in the landfill, it's also not the best future. So we need to make that as easy as possible for our consumers as we move forward. So going through a little bit, I'll touch on our 3-loop strategy, just to kind of define how we've been exploring sustainability within our company, and as well speak about partnerships. So I did say it takes people who are like-minded and also can move at the speed that you want to try to create change. I know it doesn't sound so great if I stand up here and say I've been working on circularity for over a decade and we've made some products, but I think the learnings along the way and the expansion of that program is something that we're really proud of within our company. And I think what you see now and what we offer are one material products that are there. We've reduced glue consumption. We're thinking them from the beginning of how we design them. We're designing them with the end in mind, which is really important. But I think we'll see that evolve because we can't expect people to take any sort of compromise in terms of performance, any sort of compromise in terms of the visual that we're doing within our products as we move into the future. So on our 3-loop strategy, we actually started with a recycled loop, so actually creating things made out of recycled materials. Maybe you've heard, but we had, as an example, in 2019, we said we'll have no more virgin polyester within our supply chain, and we use quite a lot of polyester. And by 2024, we'll have achieved that goal. We're actually very close right now, but I can't say how close. But that's just an example of some of the way we're rethinking the resources that we're using. The circular loop is what we're talking about today, so product that is made to be remade. And then the regenerative loop, which we're also going towards. So rethinking fossil fuel based, rethinking can we use waste to create the raw materials that we're using, and eventually how are all of these things coming together? So we don't have a team that just looks after recycled loop, that just looks after circular loop, and just looks after regenerative loop. In the ideal future, all of these things will come together. All of these things will come together so we could have a shoe made from recycled material that is circular with an end of life in mind, that comes from bio-based or alternative sources of materials. And each of those things as well, knowing it's also quite important for us to understand the carbon footprint of what we're doing when we combine all of those things. So the transparency of where it's produced, how it's produced, what emissions are created, and ideally what emissions are saved as well in the future when we're creating new product.
So, thanks, Paul. So we are very proud to work intensively with Adidas on this program. And it's clear we will continue to innovate. We will continue to develop our technologies to even move forward into circularity and support Adidas achieving their targets. But if you look on these charts, we also, from a holistic view, continue to tackle the overall aspect of sustainability. And this is exemplified with Infinergy. We will not only focusing on recycling, we can also create a material with renewable materials. We can also use plastic waste in the chemcycling process. And all in all, this material is recyclable. So we can really close the loop. So this is perfectly exemplified, and you can see in the booth, we have a lot of such technology that show exactly how BASF is moving forward into sustainability. So I think we have still a movie and 2 minutes left, so I think I gave you the handover to you for the conclusion, Paul.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm on my last slide right now. I didn't bring them all with me today, and I'm happy I didn't, because I don't think I could have ran that far with all of our products in my backpack. But I think over the last years, you'll see a really nice thing is our product range coming across more of our business units. So whether it's originals, whether it's the launch of our new hiking boot, the Free Hiker, and the running product continues to evolve. I think what I did want to highlight on this slide, and you'll see in the video that I'm going to show in a second, is as well the take-back program. We've been doing a lot of work on that to understand. So if I take my handy right now, and I won't do it in a live demo just for time today, but you can scan the QR codes on our product. That immediately takes you to the take-back information. You can print off your thing and send it back to us. And I think that's as well for us to learn how we incentivize, how we speak to our consumers as being a big part of the journey. So I'm going to flip over now to the video, and we'll see if this works.
All good things come to an end. But what if the end was actually the start? Sneakers that can be remade into more sneakers. Nice. Wear them in, but don't be afraid to wear them out. Once you're finished with them, just scan the QR code on the product and ship them back. Bye! Adidas clean them, shred them, melt them, remake them. Second life unlocked. Maybe you're the first owner, but chances are you won't be the last. Because all good things come to an end. But what if the end was actually the start?
Guys. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Paul and Lionel. You're making me totally redundant here. Did you notice? You told the full story.
Sustainability is also about efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I still have one question for each of you, and then we have to make way for the next creator talk going on. Impossible is nothing, yeah?
Yeah.
Last time we met 3 years ago, what impossible have you made possible since 2019?
Wow, good question. I'd say the impossible is actually getting this product across the globe in multiple markets, in multiple business units, and having people bring them back. So thankfully, in a sense, there's not many product coming back yet. We've launched the first ones in 2021, and we hope to also create durable product, which we have been. But I think the fact that it's enabled everywhere in the globe, that's a huge undertaking that goes much beyond product design. It's the whole infrastructure, supply chain, back end, recycling, and I think that's a really big impossible.
Okay. Now you had 30 seconds to prepare for your answer, Lena.
Okay.
So,
Right.
what impossible?
What impossible? So I think what we did, we perfectly converted this one into this one over the last 3 years. But so you can see that in this product, you have some remaining material from post-consumers or from modern shoes. And it was very exciting to see the whole process from the collection to the end of and that we have at the end a component that is fully fitting the performance that I just needed. And for sure, if you want to deep dive, I'm here for the whole day, so you can visit our booth, no problem. We can answer your question. Again.
Continue to make the impossible possible.
Yeah.
Go create. Welcome to our plastics journey. Thanks, Paul, for being here, for making it the time.
BASF. We create chemistry.